Boom. And we are live with another episode of the Brown Water Banter podcast. My name is Jared Seymour.
My name is Joey Cates.
That's right. And we got another killer show for you this evening. In the studio, we have Captain Jay Trochesset. We're going to be talking about charter boat captaining, the Gulf of Mexico, the changes along the Mississippi Gulf Coast from the time you started till today.
The good old days.
The good old days. But before we do that, we're going to jump into the sponsors, man, the people who keep the show rolling for us. Right out of the gate, you probably know who we're going to. Our good buddy, Dr. Robbie Williams, over at Southern Magnolia Smiles, man. They are located on Washington Avenue in Ocean Springs. If you'd like to look them up, they are on the socials at Southern Magnolia Smiles. When you're ready to book that appointment, give them a shout at 228-215-1202 and tell them that we sent you. Our buddy Tyler over at Taylor & Cox Law Firm. They've been practicing law in Pascagoula for 30 years. If you find yourself in need for legal representation for any reason, we highly recommend them. They specialize in felonies, misdemeanors, DUIs, family law, divorce, child custody. You name it, they can take care of it for you, and they will fight tooth and nail. Give them a shout at 228-696-0111 if you find yourself in need for legal representation. We also want to thank them for sponsoring the Brown Water Banter app. We really appreciate that as well. Our buddy Rocky, over at Cedar Swamp. He's got a location in Gaucher and Gulfport, man. He's got all your outdoor apparel, tackle, rods, reels covered. Anything you need for a day outside, the water or hunting, go check Rocky out. Cedar Swamp. Look him up on Facebook. See the number 2 and then Swamp, or you can give him a call at 228-205-3964. He just opened up his location in Gulfport not too long ago. He's got a lot of inventory over there, so go check him out. We appreciate his support. Our buddy Kendrick over at Forever Young Men and Women's Health. If you find yourself lethargic, can't get off the couch, you want to start working out again, or just get moving again, feel younger, give Kendrick at Forever Young a call. He'll help you get off the couch. He'll help you feel like stop feeling like a big turd. He'll run some lab work on you. Maybe you need hormone replacement. Maybe your testosterone's low. Maybe you got a vitamin deficiency. Put your health in the hands of a healthcare professional and let him get you where you need to be. And last but not least, Randy Bosarge, our District 5 supervisor over here in Jackson County, stayed on board with us, and he wanted to remind you that he's working hard for you in Jackson County, for all you Jackson County residents. A lot of moving and shaking going on, a lot of growth, a lot of development, and we appreciate Randy supporting the show. So, Joe,
I can't do it. I got too many grooves. You've already destroyed it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right,
Joey's helping spread the word, though, getting the show out to everybody. But like we said, Captain Jay Trochesset in the studio with us here this evening. Sir, we appreciate you joining us and jumping in here with us this evening. We always like to start with everybody's backstory and how they got into what it is that they do. And for you, that's been a life, correct me if I'm wrong, working in the Gulf of Mexico as a charter boat captain. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, as a deckhand first, my father got a boat in 1960, and I was still trying to play baseball, and I kind of gave it up after in All-Stars to make a few dollars. And then in 61, I quit baseball and just wanted to make money for him because I always gravitated to be a deckhand.
You got to start somewhere.
That's right.
That's it. Yeah. And so I worked for my father in 61 all the way. Even in college, I went to Southern Miss, and we were on a quarter system, and I'd come home. A lot of time I had Monday through Thursday classes. I'd even come home and working with him on the weekends back when I was in college. So, and I always, deep down, I wanted to be a runner boat, but I didn't think I'd ever get to.
Right.
And so, lo and behold, I got my license, and then I was working construction a couple of years, and this fella, Buddy Bird, he owned a bunch of things on the beach back then, and he asked me, he said, "I heard you have your license. Would you run my boat for me this summer?" And I said, "Well, yeah." And I was, 24, 25, somewhere around there, kind of young, and so I ran his boat that year, and I enjoyed it. And that fall, he called me one night on the phone and says, "You want to buy my boat?" I said, "I ain't got no money. I've been married 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
Got a kid now." So back then, I tell you how banking was. My daddy went down on Howard Avenue to I think First National, one of them, I think that's it, and just co-signed a note. Mm-hmm. Boat was mine.
Yeah.
So that got me in the charter boat business.
And what year would that have been roughly? You said around 4 years after you got started? 64, 65?
Oh no! When I got it, no, it was. I think it was like 73.
Oh, okay.
When I started running the boat, I decking with my daddy started in 61.
Okay.
Full time for him. I was 13, and of course, I couldn't. Some of the lemon fish, I couldn't gaff the big ones. And
they pull you overboard.
Well, my daddy had a bad habit. He didn't want to bring him in the boat alive, and so we gaffed him. He'd beat him on a gaff with a baseball bat and kill him.
Right.
Well, I wouldn't do that. I got in trouble a few years later. I gaff him and throw him in the boat. And,
kick out.
And then one time one of them was kicking, and I jumped up and stuck my foot in the gaff, and he was running around the boat chasing me, my daddy. He was mad because I threw the lemon fish in the boat. So hence, when I got in the business, I got a 410. And every time we catch a legal lemon fish, we pop him in the head.
Yeah.
Because I read somewhere in that time, in the 70s, cobia was the hardest saltwater fish to gaff and land. So many people try and gaff them, and of course, fish in tournaments, that's another story. But just, a charter boat, boom, shoot them, put them in the boat. Yeah. And of course, I'll get into deckhands in a little while, but I had a funny story with a deckhand one time with lemon fish. But that's how I started.
Yeah.
And people always ask me, what's the difference back then and now? Well, what people don't understand, back then, the biggest thing is there wasn't any private boats fishing out there.
Right, yeah.
Maybe on a Saturday or Sunday you'd see one. Never during the week would you see a private boat.
Right.
And so people ask, well, what's the difference? I said, well, I equate it. There was a pie. And back then, there was a lot of big pieces of that pie. Now, there's little pieces, and there's not a lot on them piece of pie.
Yeah.
Because of supply and demand. For whatever reason, there was a lot of fish back then. Of course, when we got into business, it was different because we targeted cobia and lemon fish. Every day April we go chumming on the grass beds of the bar, and then in the shrimp boats come in the middle of May, we'd go out, tie the shrimp boats. When the shrimp boats went across the river in August, we'd go anchor out there, chum, try and hook big sharks, and then lemon fish would be around, catch them around the big sharks. So that's what we did back then. But back then, in the early 60s, they wasn't crap for Destin or Orange Beach. Orange Beach there wasn't 100 people in Orange Beach.
Yeah, right.
And so what happened to the cobia population, they want to tell you, they go migrate to the
river,
towards the west.
Yeah.
But I think they're just going with the temperature. The temperature of the water, I think, it's warmer to the east. That's why it's doing that. So, when there were so many lemon fish back then, some people say, well, maybe the loop current changed after Camille. But when we started, there was a lot of lemon fish but one thing, there wasn't a lot of people in Destin or Orange Beach. So after probably the I-10 opened, it opened a lot of people from Louisiana. They used to come to Biloxi.
Yeah.
They quit coming to Biloxi and they started going to Destin and Orange Beach. It opened up.
Right.
And so when it opened up, their fishing fleet got bigger and they started short stopping all them cobia. They beat up before they get here then. And that's been the case since the early 80s, late 70s. So that's one thing that hurt us. So we had to, like Clint Eastwood said, we had to adapt and overcome to try and do different things.
Yeah, right. They're sight casting for them and bait boats right off the coast. Off the beach.
They, so many of them are caught. A lot of them not caught. They get here. You got a hook in their mouth, a jig in their mouth.
Yeah,
it's it makes it tougher for us.
It's hard for us. I mean, to imagine. You say there was no private boats out there.
None.
I don't remember how it was when I was young. But nowadays, as an adult, it's like going on the interstate, going out there on the weekends. I mean, there's
boat
so many
launches
boats.
Packed.
It's
parking lots packed. It's everywhere you go is packed.
Part of that's you feel pride that people love the outdoors and want to be a part of it. But the other side of it is it'll never be like what you remember the early 70s fishing, I mean, every single wreck, every single spot is just covered with boats nowadays.
Sure.
They'll be like that again.
No. And I guess that's how it has evolved. A lot of the species of fish there were so many of them, and we today that you can't find a lot of Spanish mackerel, king mackerel, cobia. I mean, we have good years in our fishing. In the late 70s, we started targeting redfish. Redfish was our big fish in the 70s. I mean, I tell people about snapper. Snapper's a big thing now. When Kenny and I were growing up, cutting our teeth, you find snapper, a shrimp boat caught on a wreck. One time a shrimp boat was right east of Chandelier Light, and he got on a wreck. All the charter boats went there and stayed there. There wasn't any limits back then.
Right.
And so it was so good, one of the captains, C.A. Alsaford, stayed there. We took his people, brought them in so we could find the wreck the next day.
Yeah.
And went back on it, and we all caught everything that was there, but, you catch, 150, 200 snapper, but they wasn't like they are now. Yeah. One thing's changed since back in the 70s. There's a whole lot more bigger snapper now than there were.
Yeah.
You didn't see many 10, 15-pound snapper back then. Why? We don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it's weird because technology is so much bigger now. I mean, you got 50-foot center consoles with quad 450s. You could go
anywhere
you want to, and you can sit there and look at the bottom on your couch. Y'all didn't have that. Y'all had the old beep, beep, beep. I got three numbers.
Loran A, which you had to be a little bit of. Loran A wasn't easy then when we thought it was going to hurt. When Loran C came out, because it was automatic, but Loran C wasn't quite as accurate as GPS.
Right.
GPS gets you right on it.
Right.
And that's another thing over the years. It's when we started in Little Dog Keys, Squash Channel, there was 3 stakes on each side. We lined up the Shallow bodies. We lined up the Gloria Collie looking at them stakes. And believe it or not, people back in the 60s, captains, H.L. McQueen, one of the better cobia fishermen back in the day, he would get the Dog Keys buoy and run a certain course, time you. I mean, you talk about a time to find this wreck.
That don't make any sense.
They found, there was some found like that, but that's how hard it was. More or less, we waited for the shrimp boats to find something accidentally. And so,
right. And I mean, that wasn't probably, I mean, that wreck that he probably rolled up on wasn't a huge wreck. No. So you probably wouldn't have seen it unless they got their trawl stuck in it. So when they found it, y'all was on it now.
So, that's, it's you don't want to stop progress, but, I get sometimes I get upset, especially offshore. You cursing these recreational people. I mean, they just going out there. I mean, hell, people live to go fishing, a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's a tough situation for us, but I mean, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like everything else nowadays. Like for our generation and our kids' generation, everything's connected, everything's digital. There's no allure to anything. The whole world, something happens. Somebody farts on the other side of the planet.
Somebody knows.
Social media, everybody knows about it. So
and so what all these boys in Destin and Orange Beach, they had the luxury of building their own wrecks.
Yeah, the coops, chicken coops
out there, Alabama dumping ground, all these places. Well, guess what?
We couldn't do it.
Ain't nothing sacred right now.
Yeah.
I don't have the best. I got pretty decent electronics, but these people with better. If I see you over there,
I got you. I can ping you, yeah.
They see me, most of them, they can ping me.
Yeah.
I've been building wrecks since the early 80s.
I ain't secret no more.
No.
People caught me and I was on one the year before last, fishing it, and I'll just run up there. I need 34 fish. I'm gonna catch 34 and get the hell out of there. Mm-hmm. I'm up there watching everybody. He's got them on. I got either 2 or 3 deckhands telling 17 people. I mean, got Get that off. And I turn around, and here comes a 19, 20-foot boat right behind me. A man, his wife, and kid. And I'm saying, where in the hell did he come from?
Yeah.
Because Mississippi was closed. He was an Alabama boat, run right up to me, and he didn't have a clue. He just started fishing right there. And I watched him catch him.
And now that spot's gone.
No.
Well,
It ain't
he's got it
gone,
on GPS.
but if he knows about it,
Everybody else
and
knows
what I
about
did
it.
to him, he's going to tell people because his Alabama. I seen he Alabama markings. It's two a person in the Gulf.
Right.
I watched him catch 10 or 12 fish, and I said, "Man, you need to get the hell out of here." I said, "The limit's the same in Alabama as it is in Mississippi. It's federal." He just looked at me. So I swung my 52-foot catamaran and put that pulpit about 6 inches from his face. I said, "You need to leave now, buddy." And he reluctantly left. But, he probably told everybody he could about that spot. So nothing's sacred anymore. And all these people, they get all these people that spend money, find them, and they go way offshore, 50 miles, 55 miles. But these 3 and 4 engine boats, they'd be out there an hour and a half. They'll get you.
I'll tell you something else to kind of rain on your parade. I don't know if you know or not, but like when you take people out, if they take photos while they're on that wreck, that photo is geotagged. So on their phone, it'll have the GPS coordinates of where that.
Well, I know these people in Orange Beach and Destin. They tell you, electronics would come back in, and I've had people 4 or 5 years ago, companies market them right there.
Well,
and I'm on the modules out there, stuff right there. I'm not fishing my wrecks because some of these people still fish with me, these same companies. And I tell them, I said, I ain't going to my spots because y'all on here.
Yeah. But that's why I say it's not even like an app. It's not even a special app that you got to have.
Just a picture.
It's just really, boom, and then
that's
in the phone, it tells you right where we were at.
Nothing's sacred anymore.
No, that's the world we live in.
Like it used to be.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the first boat you bought. You said you went. Your daddy co-signed for it. What was it?
It was a 50-foot wood boat. It's a round bottom boat, a lugger, and people. We used to run all the way to the them rigs in a circle.
City rigs, shallow rigs.
No.
Shallow rig.
No, the one offshore about 55 miles. Had the thing in the middle of it, the coral. What do you call them rigs?
We got the brain trust over here off camera.
It was 5 rigs, horseshoe rigs.
Horseshoe
rigs.
Yeah.
It take me. My boat did 9 knots on a good day.
Hey, at least somebody's got a memory over here.
Yeah.
Horseshoe rigs. We go there, and like I say, it take me all day to get there. I got there, and that boat. I tell you what it did. It made you appreciate. After that, my daddy bought my second boat. He bought a hull from Glenn Young. He made his first 50-foot hull in Ocean Springs, and I was going to get it. And one of my friend Kenny Barhanovich's cousins, Frank Perry, he changed his name. He wanted it worse than I did. So he told me, he said, "I'll give you $500 if you let me take that first one." So I said, okay, because I'm not in a hurry. So he took the first one out to play, and he had to end up putting a lot of Bondo in it because the first one's a little cruder. So I took the second one, and we brought it over to my daddy's house. He lived right on the beach, West Beach in Biloxi. Cut a big oak tree, and we put it right there. We cut a banister from my mama's house. It was after Camille, of course. They lost their house. Camille rebuilt. So we could walk right across and work on the boat. My second boat, this fiberglass boat. And I learned a lot about fiberglass then because I had fiberglass from my head to my toe.
Yeah,
we went through 4 55-gallon drums of fiberglass building that boat. Wow. I didn't have a clue. My daddy could build anything, how to build anything. He was his family with master carpenter and boat builders, but I didn't know what it looked like, from scratch, but because we just had the hull. We even put the crash bulkhead in it, and we fiberglassed a lot of things in it. But the first time I had to use fire retardant resin, which costs more than general purpose. Had to have fire retardant resin because I was putting 14 bunks in it. Mm-hmm. If you got bunks, you got to have fire retardant resin. So we making 5-gallon bucket. The first we fiberglass in the stem of that boat, and I'm coming up the ladder and the bucket's smoking because my pa liked to mix it hot.
A little hot.
Ruin that 5 gallons, and of course I was. You had to know my daddy. He was You know,
You wasn't gonna say nothing, was
He
you?
probably hard as nails.
well, one time I said something on that boat. The only time in my life I ever said something to my daddy, and he threw a maul at me in that boat, and I never said another thing to him.
You already told me. You already told me you knew my grandpa.
Yeah.
He threw a hammer at me while we was working on a roof one time because I wasn't.
They were just from a different town.
Yeah,
Well,
he threw a hammer at me.
Well, I'll tell you about my daddy. Kenny docked right next to my daddy. So I'm on the south side of Broadwater for 35 years, 40 before I went to the Beau Rivage. So I'm over there, and somebody comes over there and he says, Jay. I said, what? He said, you need to go around there. Your daddy's under a boat with a bucket. I said, so? He said, you need to go over there. So I ride over there, and he's like 70 years old. He's down there with a bucket over his head. He's got a 36-inch pipe wrench and a maul. He's changing the wheel by himself.
In the water.
Yeah.
He was a man's man.
Yeah.
He was a tough son of a gun. His hands were about that big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he had gas engines when I was working for him before he got diesel, and he would take them rebuilding the engine at night so we could go the next day. He'd breaking off bolts, busting them.
Papa, huh?
So anyway, that was my father.
Well, you brought up your daddy and his daddy. I mean, that's basically where it started. Right?
Our daddies were instrumental in the fishing banks. They were with Rowan Argergard and one or two more people. They started the fishing banks back in the 60s. They got the ships.
With the coordinates?
Just a minute. I want to talk about my what's her names first. I want to talk about my deckhands.
All right. Go ahead.
I want to talk about my deckhands.
All right. We ringing the bell now. We ringing the bell. Let's talk about so the fishing banks is what he brought in with the numbers. That was Lawrence
C, 8 and C.
Yeah.
So I can't tell it. This is my 50th year this year. So I can't remember people. Jerry said he worked for me. Danny Battalla worked for me. But the second deckhand I had a deckhand, a man almost my age, buddy's friend, and he worked with me like 2 months. I knew he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
So I got rid of him and hired a boy as a senior high school, Steve West. He ended up working for me for 4 years, and he hated me for years.
Yeah.
He hated me. Of course, he was a senior then, and he hated me because, like I said, there wasn't any restrictions on fish.
Right.
And we would go back then in the kind of early to mid 70s. We'd catch 150 mackerel, 50 redfish, 7 king mackerel.
And he had to clean them.
He had to clean them.
He was so mad at me.
Yeah.
And for years,
I'd be mad at you too.
he wouldn't tell me. And his wife told me why. She said, oh, Jay, he said, he cursed you so many times.
You're like,
so now we get along, and he's been a captain about 40 years and more. So Steve I had my first boat, the wood boat, I had an overhang, and you couldn't see around it. And so he was so tired, he would stand up under there, and I couldn't catch him during the day trolling. And the fish would be flipping back. Then we got fish, and Steve, and finally somebody would get him. And so I had a deckhand named Harold Ketchart Jr. So I'm dealing with kidney stones.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to get a captain to run my boat one day and couldn't.
Yeah.
So I went out with a kidney stone attack.
Oh, that wasn't.
So I'm still on my wood boat. So it's calm. I'm up there. I got a 5-gallon bucket up there, and I'm throwing up. And so I can hear the people down there.
Is he seasick?
And they said, what's wrong with the captain? And Harold Ketchell says he gets seasick.
Oh, God, what an ass. Did you fire him that day, or did you wait?
As soon as you got to the line.
Fired him right there.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best captains in Destin.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Did
and his daddy was a great guy.
Did he do that out of ignorance, or did he do it on purpose?
He did it on purpose.
Yeah, good. Okay,
So,
that makes it better.
So then I have later on I had this Ibley boy, Carol Ibley's son, and I worked for Carol at the 13-story building when I was working plumbing, pipe fitting down on the beach now. It's Legends, I think, across from the harbor. I worked there for Carol, and at the end, he was always hard on me, and I used to hide. So I'm figuring his boy is trying to just get back at me. So he worked with me. So one day, we got local people, 4th of July. I'm waiting for him. We're supposed to leave, I don't know, at 7. I said, be there at 6:30. He rolls up about 10 after 7. He's with this woman in a small car, and she kicks him out. He rolls on the pavement on the south side of Broadwater where I was. He gets up and staggers on the boat, and then we leave. So we out there fishing, trolling behind these shrimp boats, catching black-tip sharks and jackfish between Chandelier and Ship Island. Back then, when all them Vietnamese came, there's 100 boats dragging there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so one of the people climbed up and says, Captain J. I said, what? He said, your deckhead's back there in the water. And I got 10 or 12 lines I'm trolling. And I turn around and look, and there he is holding the gas, smiling with them buck teeth. I said, what the? So I went from forward to reverse. I'm afraid I'm going to get him with them spoons.
Yeah.
Got him on the boat, and he says, I got the gaff. And so we used to stay on each other. And so 6-8 months later, on my fiberglass boat in the inside, just like the other boat, the wood boat, I had a hatch, and I keep it open to keep the air, because the air would get the wood in there hot like that. So I'd air it out in the afternoon sometimes. And so I'm downstairs. We finished the trip. I'm down there in the galley downstairs cleaning up. And Ibley's out there, and he says, Captain J, somehow, come out here. And so I run up the steps, and I start running, and I hit, boom, I go in the engine room because he took the hatch off and put the carpet back. I had a piece of 4x4 carpet intentionally. And I went down, and my shin hit one of them clutches.
Ooh.
And I got so mad. I wanted to go get him, but I couldn't because I couldn't run. I thought I broke my leg.
Now,
So
he did that on purpose.
Oh yeah.
God, dog.
He ain't right. The boy ain't right.
No
I know he's
joke.
got a wife and kids, but he ain't right. He ain't never been right. He ain't right. I mean, he had them poor Coogis boys one day, and they coming in. He run up on Deer Island, throw them off the boat. He ain't right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I got when I was at the Beau Rivage, we had this bachelorette party from Lafayette.
Here we go.
And this,
Here we go.
This girl calls me and says, Captain J, can we decorate the boat? I said, yeah. We've been running every day, and I got this boy working for me, Mr. Kilpatrick, Peanut Kilpatrick.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
So I told Peanut, we got in from a trip, got in at 4 o'clock. We went home. I said, try and get there before me and get them on the boat. So, and they had a Suzuki or Evinrude deal at the Beau Rivage Marina. That they had a lot of people there, all kind of people walking around, and everybody's looking at my boat. And I walk in there, and Peanut's just smiling, and the girls are on there. And on the outriggers running up, they got balloons with penises.
Oh, God.
I was so embarrassed. I wanted to kill Peanut, and all he do was smile at me.
He said you told me to do it. You told me to let him do it.
Get it out
So-
there.
You said let me do it.
So we go out. It's like 16 or 17 women. So we go out, and I told Peanut, I said, one thing. It's just me and you and these women. I said, don't drink. One thing I'm going to ask you. Well, he went up on the bow. This is my first catamaran. And he's mixing drinks. He's giving them a drink. He's drinking. Giving him a drink. He's drinking. So everybody drunk but me. So we get in, and I'm scared that somebody's going to get hurt. They want to stay on the boat. And I said, so here's what I tell you. It was the brew pub or something back then. It was right. It was right before. It was right before Katrina. And so I told this woman, I said, if y'all go up there, I'll buy y'all a drink. I just wanted to get them off the boat. And we got to fish the next day. So we go to the brew pub. That was a mistake. It cost me a fortune. It cost me a whole lot more than I got paid for that trip.
Yeah.
And so we up there dancing with them. We up there dancing with all these women. You know, we live in the high life. And next thing I know, Peanut's girlfriend shows up.
Oh, that ain't good.
Oh, that wasn't
wasn't
good.
good.
I can see that just like it was yesterday. She grabbed him by the ear, jerked him off of that dance floor, and pulled him out. and he's still smiling.
Oh yeah.
He probably would have stayed with me till now if that wouldn't have happened. Now he's married and got 3 or 4 kids.
Yeah,
and it's
don't we
everything
all?
she says, he does.
Yeah.
Still the way.
So the moral of the story is he learned his lesson.
He learned his lesson.
He learned his lesson.
Yeah.
So you transferred from a round hole boat. You were probably the first one to run a catamaran.
Well,
right?
I got a catamaran. My daddy was dying with lung cancer, and he built a couple of boats. He built one they used to drop out of planes, and he built that, his first boat in the 50s. And then he had one built. And I tell you, my daddy, how he did. They had another captain there. My daddy had a 26-foot Chris Craft. C.A.S. Ford was another captain. He had a 26-foot Chris Craft. And every year in the spring, from the small craft harbor, we'd run down to the point, and C.A. would just beat us. So the following one winter, we working. My daddy's working on the boat. He cut the transom, and I don't know. I'm 14 years. I don't know. And so he added on to the transom.
4 foot.
4 foot to the transom. So he's got a tarpaulin over the transom. So we get with CA and we start and we beat CA. And CA says, "What's going on, JP?" There's nothing. I didn't know it then. He added 4 foot to it, and it had more planing surface.
So like a kicker bracket, pretty much.
More. So getting back, so that's to my story on the catamaran. So my daddy told me when he was dying, he said, "If you ever get a boat, you ought to think about a catamaran." So I started reading on them, and so they had this boy here, C.T. Switzer. What'd you call him? Howdy
Doody.
Howdy doody.
Risky, pull that mic up.
Yeah.
Pull that mic up.
He had a waterworks here, and he had a boat.
His mother had a waterworks.
His mother, you're right.
Yeah.
So he had bought a 42-foot crew boat, and he had it at the shipyard getting it redone for a dive boat. And he said, I was eating lunch one day, and I was telling somebody I'm thinking about maybe getting a catamaran. He said, "Come on over to the shipyard in New Orleans or Harvey. They might make one." I said, "You see one over there?" He said, "No." So I rode over there with him one day in '96, and I talked to him and said, "Well, we build anything." They had a submersible there, aluminum boats in, and so I asked him to build a catamaran. I said, "I don't know, the sport fish catamaran." So the graphic artist do one, and so give me the price. And so the following year, I had one built in '97. That was my first catamaran. And so here's about
aluminum or fiberglass?
Aluminum. And so here's about a catamaran. You take you take a 50-foot catamaran, a 50-foot monohull, and you get the same engines in it. The catamaran's going to go faster and burn less fuel.
Less boat in the water.
More drag, less planing. More planing surface, less drag.
Yeah.
The problem is a catamaran costs more to build than a monohull.
Yeah.
So that's I got that one, and so.
Let me ask you though, why'd you get one built and not buy one? They didn't make that
They
size.
didn't have any around here.
You had to get them certified.
I wanted a multi-pasture boat. See, all my life, we had certified boats. Take over 6. You bring the United States Coast Guard in, and that's a story for another day, because you got to do everything they want. It's a pain, and it costs more to get a certified boat.
You just did that on your boat, right?
Yeah, I got mine done. Yeah, but you couldn't just go down there and buy Freeman. They didn't have them.
No, they didn't have Freeman's.
Yeah,
Way before
So
Freeman's.
nobody was making that size in aluminum.
No. Bro Brothers was making aluminum boats, but it was a monohull.
Okay.
So, I went to see, my daddy said, get a catamaran if you can. So I went to see them. They will build one. We ain't never built one. We'll build. So they built the first catamaran for me. And since they built mine, they built fleets in Mexico.
Yeah.
The Virgin Islands, New York City, them ones that you watch Fox, the ones that run back and forth there, they built the whole fleet for them. Jet Drive, 2 or 3 places in Mexico, they got the blue and yellow ones. So,
yours was a jet drive? No, wheels on yours.
Mine just 50 foot the first, and this was 52, but they got 300-foot boats they were building there. But that's why I had the catamaran built.
Why do you reckon your dad said that about the catamaran?
He said it'd probably be good for what we do.
But I mean, where'd he get that from?
He was reading when he was dying. He read all these boats magazines.
Okay.
Because back then the only the people that did catamarans were in Australia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was a reader.
He came off of sailboats. Is where it originally came
Yeah,
from. I think
I
so.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So your old man was a reader. He was investigating.
Well,
he was learning.
His daddy, and a lot of the other old boat builders in Biloxi that had boats, they all started off with what was it? The building
Shrimp boats.
PT boats.
Oh well, yeah, TT, but
Yeah.
they built. My grandpa built shrimp boats.
Yeah, all of them built
Yeah.
boats.
So, but yeah, they PT boats. My daddy ran a Higgins boat.
Higgins.
Okay.
In World War II.
He ran it.
He ran it. So, quick story.
Damn.
He wanted to get in the Navy when the war started, but he was colorblind, and so his aptitude test back then, he was nautical, can handle boats. So they started the amphibious army.
Yep.
And they sent him 260 people to Hyannisport, Massachusetts, and they had Higgins boat there, and they taught him to drive a Higgins boat. So most of the Higgins boats in the United States were run by Navy coxmen, except the 6th Army, MacArthur. He went right with MacArthur, and they had a couple of landings in New Guinea. Then the middle of the Pacific. Then they ended the war. They were in the Philippines when the war ended. They made 2 landings, and they were fixing to go to Japan.
Yep.
So, but what in World War II, they had these little bitty pictures. Like now, we got bigger pictures. And he lost everything in Camille. He was right on the beach in Biloxi and lost everything. Yeah. And so he had pictures, which I treasured, because the first landings in New Guinea, Higgins boats made out of wood.
Damn.
Small arms fire could penetrate them.
Yeah.
So they took pictures right where they steered.
Holes everywhere.
They put steel.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Later on, another 6-8 months, they put steel on the doors, and the brass didn't want them to put steel because they want them to
be lighter.
Yeah.
Buoyant, yeah.
And right before the end of the war, they got pictures. They got them up on the beach. They put steel all over that boat.
Oh, yeah.
No
for,
doubt.
For people that don't know, the Higgins boat is the one you see like in Saving Private Ryan.
Right.
The door falls down.
Shallow draft, and Eisenhower said they were one of the big turning points in the war.
It was. I don't know if you ever been to the D-Days Museum or
I've
World
been
War
over
II
there.
Museum
I need to go back.
Higgins was a boat builder out of New Orleans, and he designed that. You don't think about it now, but like, how do we get a bunch of men out of a boat on a beach quickly? It's like, well, it's not easy to but to design that and make it float and then drop quickly.
My daddy, as soon as he got out the war, he went to work at Higgins.
Did he? Why not?
He worked for Joe Moran. Joe Moran ran a crew over there. The painter, Tommy Moran.
So they was building those boats?
Yeah. After they were, I don't know what they were building after the war.
Probably lots of shit.
They built Higgins built boats in Biloxi at foot of Lee Street. The Kovaceviches built boats for the government. I'm talking about any wooden boat builder they were building them out of wood. Yeah.
What happened to your original the lugger that you had before you went to the next boat?
Here's what I did with it. I had a boy, another deckhand. I forgot to talk this story. Jim Mowry.
Hit it right now.
Yeah.
And he worked for me. And while he was working for me, my daddy was around. My wood boat, I had a trip. We was at the east end of Ship Island, and a lot of them cow lip rays, bat rays we call them. There was 1,000 of them there, and we trolled slow. Them redfish were under them because there was a lot of redfish. We trolling slow, and I had Dixie Glass out of Hattiesburg, and they were drunk. So we hook a bat ray.
Can't say that.
We hook a bat ray, and
them tuckers go. They take off.
Yeah.
We get him up there, and he's trying to. I said, "My blue mullet spoon. Say that blue mullet, Jim." So he gaffs him, and they all crowd around the back of the boat, and he hits one of them with the back of the gaff. He turns around. When he did, he raised the gaff up, and that bat ray, the cow lip ray, come down and went right in the top of his foot, 2 inches in the top of his foot. So my daddy was going in. So my daddy took him. He had a half a day. I had 8. He took Jim in. My wife picked him up and brought him to Gulf Coast down there in West Biloxi Hospital.
It's hard to get stuck by a bat ray, but he did it.
I'm trying to figure out what
no,
stuck.
so a bat ray.
It's just like a stingray. The stinger got him.
I didn't know they had a ball.
It's on the back of their. It's almost like where the butt is, though it's not on the tail.
It's up toward the body.
They're more poisonous than a stingray. I had a long conversation with a doctor there about because I had to. Jim didn't have any insurance for thing.
You had to foot that bill, yeah.
Well, and so
You couldn't do that nowadays.
To my first boat, my daddy and I were building that fiberglass boat, and it took us almost 3 years to finish it. So when I finished it, I changed the name to the Sand Dollar, and I brought it over to Gulfport, and I sold it to Jim, and he made a headboat out of it over in Gulfport. He had all kind of business. About 4 years, he didn't want to answer the phone the 5th year. He said he's tired of it. So he sold it, and they took the boat and made a survey boat in Texas. And it came back here, and I don't know what happened after that, but it came back in one of them hurricanes, 79.
I don't know.
Before my time, Frederick.
Yeah.
But Jim started working for Bill Holland building boats in D'Iberville. So, yeah. So I'm at this fellow used to work for my brother-in-law when he was, as soon as he got out of college, he wanted to be an architect, a fellow named Tom Henry. And he calls me about a year and a half ago. He said, I got something you might want. I said, okay, lay it on me. He said, I got a sign, silver dollar sign. I said, you do? He said, I had a fellow over in Gulfport I'm doing a house for, and he came to my house, and Tom went fishing with some people on my boat, and he seen a silver dollar and fishing. So and that fellow says, I got a sign that says silver dollar. And Tom says, where'd you find it? He said, I'm walking on the beach by front of the mall. So when was that? He said, I don't know, about 1980. So he had this at his house this whole time.
Yeah.
So this past year, he got it in this like February, March, this sign, Tom did, and I met him at Tailgaters. He gave me the sign. It's just like a 1x6 silver dollar. It's my original top part of my sign. It had an S on it. And
you lost it in a hurricane?
Yeah.
I lost it. And of course, when talking about hurricanes, Frederick, I tell people, I don't care how bad the hurricane is, get on that side of us. Frederick hit Mobile. I don't know how hard it was, Category 4 or something. Yep. All we got was north wind. Yep. You know, the water gets you. So this had to go in Frederick, part of my sign, and he found it on the beach down there by the Coliseum. I mean, by the mall.
By the mall, yeah.
He kept it this whole time, and he still had it, and I got it now in my house.
How cool is that?
Silver dollar.
Awesome, yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So is that the rest of your boats now? Your Silver Dollar 1, Silver Dollar 2?
Well, it's a story. So the first boat was Silver Dollar, the wood boat. I changed the name of it in Sand Dollar when I sold it to Jim Murray. And so my catamaran, my fiberglass boat was my second boat. I named it Silver Dollar.
Yeah.
So even though it was my second boat. So when I got my first catamaran, I took the fiberglass boat and kept it Silver Dollar. I named the first catamaran Silver Dollar 2, and my son Brandon ran it. The fiberglass. I ran the first catamaran was Silver Dollar 2. So I had these people call me from Costa Rica wanting to buy my catamaran. And my wife Vicky called me one day and said, they got somebody from Boca Raton, a boat broker wants to buy the boat. I said, it ain't for sale. Mm-hmm. She said, he said he wants to buy it for somebody in Costa Rica. It ain't for sale. So he calls me, this fella. I don't think he was from Florida. He's probably from New Jersey and New York. He talked like, anyway, he says.
He wasn't from here.
Yeah. He wasn't from the South.
He wasn't from around here.
These people want to buy your boat. I said, it ain't for sale. He said, just give me a figure. So I highballed him. He called me 2 days later, said they'll take it. I'm saying, what?
Everything's for sale.
Yeah,
everything's got a price.
Yeah,
that boat was 12 years old.
Yeah,
and it was they was paying me like 90% of what I paid to have it built.
Right.
They got a kicker. It gets better. I said they was making the boat I have now, but they were slow with it, and I had trips booked, and I went and told the people, I said, I got to keep this boat through the end of October. So I figured that was a deal breaker.
That was a deal breaker. They didn't care.
They sent the head operator from Panama come. He said, okay. They let me keep that boat from May to the end of October. They give me a deposit. And so then it gets better. So the last day, when I'm bringing the new boat back, first day of November from New Orleans.
Yeah.
the people supposed to, you couldn't get trip insurance, and you used to get trip insurance. Couldn't get trip insurance. So my insurance company said, well, you got to. I told him, I said, I'm going to take a ride. I had to get the boat to Port Everglades, Florida, to get it on a ship to go to Costa Rica. Couldn't get insurance, and I called my insurance people, and they said, well, as long as you want it, fine. I said, okay. Well, I lied. I didn't go on it.
Right.
I had a captain, and I told the people, I said, well, I want you to go through the intercoastal. Don't go across with it, because if something happens, I'm out of a boat.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they did that, and it went over there. But so that's my fourth boat. My second catamaran is a Silver Dollar 3.
That's what you run in?
Silver Dollar 3. I had that built in 2010. But that's my fourth boat. And I tell people it's a long story. It's confusing. But I had the Silver Dollar wood boat. I changed the name to the Sand Dollar. And then I named the fiberglass boat the Silver Dollar. And one of my sons ran it. Well, I ran the catamaran. That was Silver Dollar 2. So now I got the Silver Dollar 3, which is my fourth boat.
Yeah. Are you still running that currently?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're still rocking and rolling.
I tried to.
Yeah.
Where did the Silver Dollar come from? The name?
Yeah. What was the inspiration behind that?
Tony David. David named it. He was an old captain. Grew up captain, and when we were deckhanding,
his girlfriend bought it from
the boat.
No, not you. Tony's girlfriend put him in business.
Yeah. I just kept the name because of business. You know, it had the name Silver Dollar. That's why I kept it.
That's perfect.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know, I remember my grandpa walking around with Silver Dollar shirts on all the time.
Yeah.
Charter boat shirts. Yeah.
My daddy's boat was a Gay J. It didn't mean anything back then because I got one sibling, my oldest sister, and my daddy was real old school, hardcore.
Yeah.
And
Later
in life, people would call him.
Yeah.
Gay, and he had a short. He didn't want to talk with him. I'll talk to him. I'll take any green money. I don't care.
Right.
Money,
it was a different time.
money.
It was a different time. Man.
Yeah, different time. So
now he'd probably be a millionaire.
yeah.
Oh, damn. That's a good story. That's a good story. I like that. So
he said his daddy was colorblind. I was tied up right next to him, but every day he come down there and check his socks out. I swear to God, I used to do. I says, and they always tell me, I might be wrong, but I got another pair at home just like it.
Well, here's my thing, and I know it didn't matter then, but I mean, I guess he knew automatically the channel markers, the lights, everything like because he couldn't see him. He was gray to him, I guess.
Well, I bet he knew the color green.
I guess.
Yeah.
No, that would be difficult though. No, I mean, there are different shapes though, right? So
yeah. I mean, you had to learn it that way, but I guess y'all didn't have to do the same test that there is now, right? To get the
well, they had a colorblind test, and
it wasn't easy.
Same color, and he couldn't pass that.
Yeah.
We didn't have it for a young person to go get his license now. That's schools. When I went to get mine, I asked the captains. I said, "What do you study?" They give me a rules of the road.
Yeah.
You take a rules of the road, you still can't understand everything.
No, we don't see any of that here. It's inland and all that.
Well, it's a board. I just did it. It's a board this big, and you got to memorize it. If you don't memorize it, you fail the test.
I took it a few months after Kenny. When we went to New Orleans. No school. I memorized the rules of the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I passed the test, and if I'd have took it 3 weeks later, I wouldn't have passed.
Got it. Yeah.
That's any test that anybody.
You don't see this stuff every day with us.
Right.
Half a block jogging club. It's only good for a half a block.
Right.
Yeah. So both of y'all ended up. I guess your daddy was at the Broadwater. Was your daddy ever at the Broadwater, or
Everybody left after Camille. The harbor got messed up, so all the charter boats that were at the small craft harbor
went
to the Broadwater. Every one of them.
Yeah, and that was there any Ocean Springs fleet? Was there a Gulfport fleet? It was only Broadwater fleet.
At
right?
one time, you didn't have a total. Even when Camille hit, you didn't have 12, 14 boats.
Yeah, about that. There wasn't any boats in Ocean Springs. There was one in Gulfport.
Just one.
And there was 14, 15 in Biloxi. That was it.
So if you wanted to come fish, you had to go to Broadwater.
That place was special. Wasn't
It was.
back then?
It was.
I mean, I
especially
remember
for
it.
us.
I remember it from when I was a kid. Not obviously like y'all remember it, but and then there's pictures of it still. I mean, it was really something special. And then I think I said this when you were on last time. I went down there recently, and now it's a drug den.
Well, they ran everybody off.
Well,
now.
not when I went there.
Well, the state's got it now, and the state's going to put it back like it was. They got money to do that.
You think we're gonna live that long?
No,
I thought
I don't think we're gonna make it, Jay.
God, dog.
I'm very serious.
I might not make it tonight.
No, we're gonna make it tonight.
Yeah,
we're gonna make it tonight.
We're gonna make it tonight.
Hey, y'all gotta get out of the studio, and whatever happens out of the studio, we're liable for y'all in here.
What I thought Cotton 4 owned it, and I thought they sold it for that big development coming.
No.
Cotton Forbes and
Roy Anderson.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going on. I mean,
but they went to the Secretary of State, and I just found this out about 6 months ago. They got it away from them.
Okay.
The state's got the marina. They got everything across the street, which is a whole lot.
Now
that's the old golf course.
They got they got all kind of.
You know one thing about the golf course? The golf course, part of it, off of what's that? Whatever.
Pass Road.
No. Part of it belongs to Jefferson Davis.
Oh, back
because it's right behind it.
Beauvoir.
And the Jefferson Davis bunch give them permission to make a golf course out of it. So I don't know how all that property works.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
But Miss Brown, she was a hell of a lady.
Yep.
I mean, drank scotch and cream. I used to go take her out. I thought he curdled it. Like he had a pudding. You know?
Yeah.
You wasn't hitting on her, was you?
No. Hey, Jay, she had support stockings. You couldn't get them damn things off.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So from everything I've heard, y'all were Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man in that year. Y'all were rivals, but y'all were still friends. How would that work?
Well, let me tell you a little thing about this.
Here we go.
All right, so one at a time. Let's go with Jay first.
Let me tell you about Biloxi.
Okay.
Here we go.
Or Mississippi Coast now, you can say.
All right.
But
Y'all get your popcorn.
Get your shovels and your boots
if
and
you're
everything
watching
else.
right now, don't get up to piss. Here it goes.
Yeah,
I tell people, if you fished here, you was a pretty good fisherman to catch fish.
Right.
Because they got it made in Florida with all the wrecks.
Yes.
They got it made in Louisiana and Texas with all the rigs. We got to go work for fish.
Right.
And so what we had to do, I hate his guts. No, we got to come together. We had to work together.
Yeah.
If you don't work together,
you're done.
you can't. Somebody hits them. We all knew it. Here they are.
Yeah.
All them people, anybody, Ray Charles could catch fish in Destin and Orange Beach.
Right.
That's true.
With all that stuff.
That's true to this day as far as the ratio.
Still good. We
know?
still got to struggle.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember Destin, where people, you go down there, and their main fish was kings. I mean, catch a lot of little kings like this.
Yeah, trolling.
But to catch any snapper, they had to go out to, I guess you'd call it the middle ground. They had to go way offshore until they got permission to start building reefs.
Yeah, and
we've tried that all our life, and we never because of the
shrimpers.
Make one. I made a reef 2.5 miles south of Camille Cut in like 80 or 81.
Mm-hmm. They pulled up.
Laundry
I
basket.
was catching. I didn't even tell my daddy I did it. We would Broadwater after we would go. We'd start at Camille Cut, then we'd go to Chandelier. Well, here's what happened to me. I was slower. All them boats, Kenny and my daddy and all them passed me. They'd go out, 15 boats, catch 15, 18 redfish at Camille Cut. Then they would go. I would go out there with my boat and catch 15 or 18 myself after they left. And I thought I was good for about 2 or 3 years. And my daddy talked to me one day. He started drinking it. He called them highballs. He said, you think you're good? I said, well, I'm catching more fish than y'all are. He said, you know why? I said, I wanted to say I'm good. Dry exhaust. I had a dry exhaust. Don't scare fish.
So you put it in the air instead of the water?
No, didn't scare them. I'd go there, and them other boats with 2 engines, they making. I got a single screw with a dry exhaust. And he said, dry exhaust, that's your ticket.
The planes used to tell us every year Jerry's daddy would have to hire a plane. And he always went with me, and we got up there. And the plane said that when the Silver Dollar would go out, you go through the redfish and they do like this.
That's
and come back.
first catamaran, aluminum boat, make noise. Middle boats make noise.
Yeah.
So they swim against you. So
Well,
they did be beat up beside, but with a single screw, I mean, I guess you
Well, that
could.
back then, yeah, it was. But he's talking about when I first got my first catamaran.
Yeah.
That metal would hit against
makes
the wave.
noise.
Yeah,
Go-
the redfish spooked the redfish.
They run.
Go back
Yeah.
though to the dry exhaust. Is that what Joey just said though? So you had a single wheel, but all your exhaust went straight up out
Straight
into
up.
the air.
Yeah.
No
So it's not
sound. No
bubbling.
sound.
It's not bubbling
No
in
sound.
the water.
Yeah.
Okay. But was your daddy giving you?
No, he would just tell me how it was.
Was he saying, "Hey, have you noticed this?" Or was he trying to like stick it to you a little bit? It's like you ain't that
I
good,
don't
son.
know. I didn't question. I didn't want to. Like I say, I didn't.
Listen, I got people that's like that in my
Whatever.
life. That's
Yeah.
why I'm
I
asking.
said, okay.
You didn't ask.
Yeah,
You didn't
ask
question his
questions.
daddy.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
So the Broadwater was it for y'all. That was, I mean,
That
that
was-
was the
it was
greatest times.
Oh, yeah,
Those are
it was-
the greatest times of charter boat
Let me
fishing.
tell you something. When we all started going to Broadwater, Miss Brown didn't really want us in there. When we started
Really?
going, really?
Is that your Broadwater hat?
That's one of them.
What you
I
put
got
there?
two.
I love it.
Put crown.
I love it. I love
But
it. Shit.
when she seen the business we brought in there,
Well,
and-
y'all was the only gig around.
well,
Well, there was a lot of the boats. And what the Broadwater had back then, they had a lot of conventions.
Yeah.
The Broadwater was the place in the 60s and 70s. The best place in Mississippi, the classiest place was the Broadwater. And that marina, was fine. And everybody gravitated. It was just brought
Yeah.
people there.
It
Well,
was.
even the hotel and the Coliseum, were they sending y'all business, like
Well,
people that came into town and stuff like that?
It all started years ago with the Edgewater Hotel. Edgewater Hotel was the biggest place on the coast, and they used to bring in a lot of conventions and stuff.
Yeah.
And we all, we'd sometimes you have every boat in Biloxi booked down there.
See, Kenny's daddy was a mover and shaker. He got things done. He had Elvis Presley, and he started bringing things in here.
So he was on. He saw what y'all had. I mean, y'all pretty much had the market cornered because y'all had a small fleet.
He was in the right places at the right time with the hotels and stuff,
But he could sell something.
Yeah.
He was a salesman.
Mel Trochesset said that drink looks a little strong.
That one is. That one is. Hey, buddy.
Hey, but you ain't driving but halfway.
Yeah.
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 So tell us about. Was there ever a rivalry between y'all two? Was there ever?
Hell yeah, there was.
Well, yeah. I wanted to catch more than him. He wanted to catch more than me.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
two young bucks. Y'all sitting at the dock where y'all like,
We were
hey
young.
man, come with me. This dude sucks. This guy, I can't stand this
No,
one,
they-
man.
I was on the south side. He was on the west side. He was where all the boats were. There were just two boats back there by me. If people would drive up to look for a boat, they wouldn't see me or the Quicksilver. They saw all them.
Yeah,
We were kind of the redheaded stepchild where I was. So we got the leftovers back there. They got all because there was a whole line of them, about 6 or 8 boats right there. People
Right up
drove
front.
that side by the marina. They didn't come into the south. You had to be lost to get on the south side.
But there wasn't but three multi-passenger boats. Well, your daddy and Tony, and
me
five
and you.
multi-passengers.
Who else?
Five.
Five of
so
us.
multi-patcher being 6.
Over 6.
Over six. Okay.
Like his daddy and Tony Davis, they were 12 passenger.
12
boats.
passenger.
Yeah.
So he was like being AAA in the phone book back in the day. Is that what you're saying?
It meant a bigger convention, people, and I tell you what, back then, our business was probably, I'd say 30-40% conventions. Wouldn't you say, Jerry?
Yeah.
Consistently? I mean, that's
Every year.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
It was
that's-
good.
That's got to be
We lost the conventions over the years,
yeah.
but a 12-passenger trip's got to be hell.
No. Hell no.
Not on their boats, not on their size of
We
boats,
didn't-
huh?
Hey, how about a 35 passenger trip?
Yeah. Ain't no way.
You know what that is? Cha-ching.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, but your deckheads jumping overboard. They're like, I ain't
Well, how
doing
many
this
how many
shit.
deckhands would you run on a 35?
trip.
Well, it depends on who I had. When I had,
You'd have to have 10 of him.
Yeah,
14 of
I
him.
quit. I
Yeah,
quit
I
halfway
tell you,
through.
when I had Steve West and Mark Seppi and Peanut Kilpatrick,
You could do it.
I had one. Now I got 2 and 3. Because here's the thing. A fella told me this about 15 years ago.
One or-
Football coach. Every generation, people are lazier.
That ain't no shit.
I believe that 100%.
So what my deckhands do now?
Yeah.
Guess what they do?
Yeah.
On the phone.
They on the phone. We got fish on. They on the phone.
Yeah.
35 people. But how did you I mean, there were no licenses, though. Did your license?
Yeah.
Could you carry that many people?
Yeah, I could carry 44. Every boat I had could carry 44 people from 50 years.
And yours as well.
No. He could, but 28,
38. And
yeah.
every year I went down.
Yeah.
I said, man, that's
too much.
That's too much.
Yeah, that's too tough.
Too many lines in the water. Too much.
Shit.
70
Just go with
eyeballs.
it. Go
30.
with it.
You dropped 35 lines in the water. Somebody's getting tangled out.
I didn't take that many 35 passenger trips.
Right. Yeah.
But I could take it if I wanted to. I like to take 35 people on a cruise. But yeah. But I mean,
peanuts in the comments now.
Here we go.
Now, if anybody says anything, it ain't true.
I'm not anyone my day.
Yeah. Tiffany, is Tiffany in the comments? Make sure Tiffany's not in the comments.
Tiffany's the one that grabbed him by the ear.
I believe it. I play soccer against him.
I mean, he was skipping on that dance floor.
I believe it. I play soccer against her every other weekend.
To this day, I don't say anything.
Well, he's probably going to get in trouble tonight for that night.
Sorry,
that
Tiffany. No, let me text her right now and say sorry, Tiffany, in the soccer group, so he don't get in trouble.
Yeah. What? Dang, that's awesome. Y'all remember then at the Broadwater when the president showed up, the president casino showed up?
Oh, I got stories about the president.
Give us a couple of them.
Yeah, well, did that help you? I mean, it had to help you, right?
Here's what it did to me. Now, let me tell you. Took my slip.
Oh, so you was on the back wall.
I was on the back wall.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what they did to me. They put me over there where where the lighthouse is, where they had the boat used to have a boat lift there. Put me there
on the west side.
On the west side, where the lighthouse is.
Yeah,
there's a cut
side.
in there, 2 slips. Yep. They put me in the Bakuna.
Yeah.
So what happened? Pat O'Neill was my deckhand. We couldn't get close to the pier. Because it's too shallow.
Too shallow, yeah.
So when I go in, I had to do like that to get in. So I had this one deckhand. He runs crew boats now. He worked for Kenny and then he worked for me. Johnny Enoch.
Oh man,
pull that mic back up. Pull that mic back up so we can hear it. Yeah.
He had a bad habit of going partying that night.
Okay. Yeah.
We fished that day. We fished that day. Caught a lot of fish. Go to back in. You need about 9 deckhands, and I had one, and he's passed out. I was trying to get in that slip back there, couldn't get him up. I got in. I had to clean the fish. I was really pissed.
Lord.
That had to be good.
I bet he didn't have a job the next day.
Well, yeah, that's the only one I had. So before we got in, I threw a 5-gallon bucket of water on him, and he rolled over.
Oh my God!
So one time after that. A couple of times, I couldn't get to the pier. I had a big old scaffold board. No lie. The people had to walk on that scaffold board. Some of them drinking.
To get to the pier.
To get to the pier.
That ain't a situation.
I told the fellow that was running the harbor master, Johnny Carana. What was his nickname?
Asshole.
Cuckoo.
Close. That's close.
Asshole cuckoo.
He was close.
Yeah. So I said, I can't keep doing this. See, we ain't got no place to put you. So he put me at the fuel dock. So I'm at the fuel dock.
We had to wait for him to move to get fuel.
hey, you in the best place. Nobody can move without you.
You control the whole day.
Later on, I'm at the fuel dock when I got my first catamaran in Stanovich. Dee-Dee's kid.
Nicky?
Yeah. Nicky comes by and I'd take the guards out fishing.
Was it Daryl?
No, it was Nicky. Nicky come, and so
he married my cousin.
We talking. He's over at my boat talking, and then on the radio, somebody just hit the silver dollar.
And
I'm saying, my son had to way down there close to the north end. Brandon had that boat. It's in the slip. There ain't nobody hit that. And I looked, and what happened was this fella, the Ford dealership in D'Iberville, what's her last name?
Astro.
One of the owners, the one that owned D'Iberville was his brother, owned a lot of stuff, a motorcycle, and he had a mechanic. He was at the fuel dock ahead of me. The mechanic tried to get away from the fuel dock with that wind blowing against you. He couldn't get away, and he put it in reverse. Thought he put it in forward, and he hit me full steam, busted my lines.
Damn.
And I'm with Nikki, and we drive over there. Messed up under my pulpit, cut up under there. And long story short, I never did get paid for what he did.
What?
Oh no, he put everything in his mama's name. He did a lot of things besides mechanic doing that. So I just cost me.
On.
But that's when I was at the fuel dock, and then so the Beau Rivage opened, and I run a couple of trips for them, and they asked me if
you wanted to slide over there?
Well, they asked me, said, we'd like to have you here, but we want 10% of your business. I said, no, I've been in this, I've been 40 years, and you ain't getting a penny of my place. So about 2 weeks later, said, no, you come in, we'll just charge you a regular rate.
Right.
And so I went there for 3 years, and that's the last 2 years Peanut worked with me, and I've never been the same since Peanut worked with me.
I don't blame him.
He's in the comments. I'm going to see how he responds to that, and we'll get.
I don't blame him.
We'll get a rebuttal. But at the Beau, did you like it there? Because Joey and I
loved it.
They opened up about 99, 2000. We worked there like 01. I remember
the boats coming in.
Well, I remember
Lighthouse, all that.
Here's what they did to me at the Beau. They named me my nickname, Everyday J.
Because you was running that many trips. Yeah.
Oh.
But
that's the pencil stir for everybody out there watching online.
He's going to get lead poisoning.
Yeah, a little bit of lead poisoning.
Yeah.
No, that place was the place to be in a sense of, I remember they used to have like crawfish cook-offs, shrimp bowls out there. That's like right before shit got bad. Remember, you could go in a casino, they were throwing drinks at people. Stuff was still relatively...
Where were you at this time?
He's at the Broadwater. They were still going.
Well, he had the good slot, though. He must have paid somebody.
Yeah, he was right there. He had the best place.
He paid somebody off.
Yeah, he paid somebody off.
No?
Well, I don't know.
It could fit in a slip. I didn't build me a boat that was too damn wide.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah, I had a wide boat.
When you're in a place, I guarantee you, we built that boat for that slip.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted it to be a foot wider, a foot and a half wider.
But you didn't do it.
No. Couldn't get a slip to put in.
So was the small craft and Point Cadet, were those there at the time?
Nothing big enough for us.
Nothing could get in there. Yeah.
They started back at when we were still at the Broadwater. Joe Fountain was down there. Johnny Come Lately's come after. I don't know who else. There was a few boats. I tell you, Bud Patronus and what's his name with the. There was 3 or 4 boats at the small craft inn.
So the small craft was pretty much empty.
No, not really.
For charter boats.
No,
there was a few charter boats, not many.
Both of them, there wasn't no multi-passenger boats like me and Jay. I mean, we was up at the Broadwater and before the storm.
Yeah. And then what was the small craft was pretty much recreational? I mean, what were they doing?
Most of that then. When they
sailboats, stuff like that. Yeah.
But just like after Katrina, I mean, we didn't have no place to go. That was the
only place after Katrina, the only marina on the Gulf Coast was functional was Point Cadet.
Really?
Point Cadet was the only one functional.
And
so we all went to Point Cadet till they opened up the other ones.
Yeah.
And when they opened up the other one, I went down there and they had me on the east wall. Ain't nobody come down the east wall, So I got up there and I backed up by underneath Mickey's. And I says,
you ain't leaving.
I ain't leaving.
He ain't leaving.
And they told me, you're going to have to move.
He didn't leave.
I ain't moving.
He ain't moving. He wouldn't leave.
Mickey didn't like me there. I don't give a damn what he like. I didn't move.
That's a fact.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell my daddy because he's up there looking at me laughing, I mean, just like his daddy.
Yeah, they both looking down at y'all laughing.
When he does something wrong, he got that. His daddy had a finger that long. Right?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he shook his hand. He grabbed his.
My daddy had one about that big around when he did like that.
Yeah.
I still
looked like a hot dog.
Yeah. Huh? His daddy used to pitch me on the leg all the time, Mr. Yankee. Come on.
I remember the marina at the Beau. It seemed like a bad thunderstorm would shut that marina down because it was floating. Right? Wasn't it
everything
floating?
was floating, but it was a good marina. But it wasn't built for being on the southwest side of a marina.
Right.
I seen some plans one time, blueprints of when they built the Broadwater Marina. The entrance was supposed to be on the other side. They looked at the prints. You know how you look at print upside down?
Right.
That's
They built it
backwards. They
backwards.
built it backwards. They put everything on the west side. Yeah, but it wasn't a bad place, you know.
No.
But we get a lot of in this part of the country. We get a lot of bad west winds.
Yep.
Yes.
Later in the middle of the summer on.
Yeah, but so that marina seemed like it shut down all the time. But then you said after Katrina, obviously that marina's gone.
They didn't open it back up.
Y'all were on Point Cadet, went to Point Cadet then. What about before Katrina? Did y'all ever go to Gornflows ever before?
No.
Just to hang out?
Hang on.
Yeah.
My son,
Just to hang out.
my son Dustin worked at Gauntflows, and he came home one night and he said, "Man, there was a hell of a fight there."
Oh, always.
I said,
Somebody got through a window.
"Brothers, Kovaceviches." I said, "Whatever you do." Oh
you
yeah.
don't get in there?
He said, "Don't."
Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
that.
There were too many of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I'm good friends with the people that own Gauntflows, Warnie Bear and Danny Patel and them.
Yeah.
They had a good thing there.
They did, and that's.
I didn't go much. We were older, and we worked. We had families. That wasn't our thing.
That was kind of when we were coming up.
Yeah.
We went there.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
I didn't go in there 5 times.
It wasn't a big place.
No.
But a lot of people went there.
A lot of people went there.
When the storm hit, one of the storms.
What storm?
Which one?
When it tore down Gauntflows.
Katrina.
Yeah.
Camille? No.
Katrina.
They had what was his name? Used to fish out of a little boat.
Connie Bayes?
No. This and fish. I'll think of it in a minute.
Kozlowski?
But he had about a 90-something pound lemon fish mounted in that place. And they found it, huh? Crochet. David.
I used to call him Lynn King.
They found it in up there on Langley Point.
That makes sense.
I get up there. I had a Ducks Unlimited after Katrina. I had a Ducks Unlimited shotgun. It's never been shot. You know, Ithaca pump, gold all over it.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
They found that son gun, and a guy comes to a guy's. He was sitting on the stairs, and here comes the box floating through the house.
Yeah, I lost a beautiful 20 pump.
he thanks you for that.
Yeah, he appreciated that. He appreciated you doing that.
Yeah, just like that.
No, but I said, that's my gun. I said, Jim Cantori was filming it. He had the film on, and here comes that black leather box with a sticker on the side. So that's my damn gun.
Yeah,
saw it on TV.
Yeah. I lost a really nice Remington 20 gauge pump that was at my dad's
lost
house in
all my
Porto
guns.
Bay.
Yeah, we lost a couple. We didn't lose all of them.
I took an old 22 Ruger automatic.
I said 22 20 gauge. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it looked bad. I brought it to Cook's. I says, "Can you just?" I can't get the clip in it. He cleaned it all up, and he come back and put a cold blue one on it. I said, "Damn thing looked pretty damn good."
Yeah. Salt water and firearms don't mix very.
No, not the old blue firearms. The beautiful, like the pretty firearms.
I got to tell you, Jay used to shoot them lemon fish. He was the worst shot in the world.
Oh, the 410?
Hold on now. He ain't here to defend himself.
Whoa.
Y'all can bring that up.
We got to.
Say something about you.
Yeah.
We said you was a terrible shot.
We'll say somebody said it.
We sit right here with a 410. You can't hit a lemon fish.
And then I'm going to take a latrine break.
Yeah. You walk off after that.
I don't care what he says.
I
mean, there was all through our life, there was a rival between us. You know, I mean, him building one boat, I was building one boat. But
they call it a measuring contest. I'm not going to get vulgar on the show.
Yeah.
No, all right, there was a couple shots fired.
Captain J.
There was a couple shots fired while you was gone.
I'll put you, So Captain Kenny said you couldn't hit a lemon fish with a 410 to save your life.
If it was looking at you in the face.
If it was in the boat,
let me tell you. I forgot one of them deckhands worked for me part of one year. A Bear, not Chad.
Not Gregory.
No, Chad's brother, Sean A. Bear. So we
that was.
It's been a long day. We got a lemon fish hooked, and he begged me to shoot it, and I always shoot him. Let him. He shot the hook right out of it. The lemon fish died and floated off. I was pissed off more than the people were. I said, "You'll never shoot that damn fish again, boy." I wasn't the best shot, I'll admit, but I mean, with a 410 right there, it's hard to miss them.
410, I like that.
You get the alligator.
I get on a platform right there. I'm 2 foot from. If I miss them, I might have missed one or two.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
Captain Kenny said you weren't worth
see,
shot worth a damn.
But Captain Kenny wasn't in the service. I was in the service. I got to be a marksman in the service. But what he don't know, I lost in the Boy Scout.
Here we go. This is how it starts. Yeah. This is exactly how it starts.
I want to ask you one question.
Tell you right now.
Hey, we got an arm wrestling match coming on pretty soon.
No. How many people you actually think that work for you went on and got their license? I can tell you mine.
How many?
About 70%.
About the same.
Yeah. I mean,
we put a lot of captains on this boat, in this place. Yeah.
And all of it when they left, it was all full of bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, somebody has to be the stickler.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, we joined at the hip forever.
Yeah.
Here's what Kenny did that a lot of people don't know.
Here we go.
Kenny was a pretty good redfish troller. Here's what he did. Here's what he did in his later life, and now I see all these young people doing it. Mm-hmm. Kenny used to later on. Of course, he didn't drag as many lines as I did, and I couldn't, but he did it. He'd catch them, and first thing he'd do would turn on them.
That's what
go back in,
turn back around again.
Now a lot of these people do that with the side scan. This didn't have. He would do that, and I'd get pissed off. I said, he's turning on.
Out of the way.
I couldn't because
he's cutting you off.
Well, I got more lines. I'm dealing with more fish, so I got to go straight. Right. He said, went in them. I hooked 12. He hooked 7. He hooked 7 more. He's done caught 14. I'm still with my 12 down that way. But he started doing that, and now since he retired 3 or 4 years ago, a lot of them people are doing that, and I ain't told them.
Now you told them. You just told them on TV.
Yeah, you live on TV right now.
Y'all doing just what Kenny Barhanovich used to do. But Kenny didn't have a side scan. They got a side scan.
Yeah, he was before his time.
That's right. Well, we didn't know.
Both of y'all were.
They turn in on it because they seen the fish move, so they turn in on them.
Yeah.
We need to do an old salt tournament. No electronics. No, nothing.
Well, I'll tell you what, when we started, we didn't have nothing.
There'd be a bunch of drowned rats.
There'd be a bunch of dead people.
Yeah, you better call Boat USA or CITO.
Yeah.
If like on the President Kennedy, if we ran the Deprecator and ran the Loran, I mean, it was an old GPS Loran. I mean, from military, get one reading, then you had dial in the next reading. And I'm going to tell you what, hey, your batteries go down on a damn boat. It takes so much juice.
Well, we still got a few more questions for you guys, and the people are lighting the comments up here on the live too. I want to ask y'all one thing. When y'all were cutting your teeth, just getting in, you said you started deckhanding first with your dad, right? Is that what you told me? And I'm sure you started deckhanding same.
He went with Albert Everett.
Yeah. Who were the old salts then? Who were the guys that had been in it? Was it just y'all's fathers, obviously, but like who were the guys then? If you could tell us some stories about that.
I'm gonna ask Jay one point. When Mac got H.L. McQueen got in the business, he started speckled trout fishing out of a base skiff.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. This guy, you could not. I beat him twice. Catching the first lemon fish of the year, but you couldn't beat this guy.
He was good.
But they had one old guy that was in slip 1 at the Biloxi Harbor, smoked a pipe, and ended up dying with throat cancer. He fell on the boat.
Not Cooney Rouse.
No, Cooney. Cooney was he on a Buccaneer. I get up there and name all them boats. When I was a kid. And the Bakers, it was all chumming.
Alvin's people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Ralph and Arthur, they were good people, but. Captain Lionel Holly,
Yeah. So let me tell y'all a quick story. Two stories. My pa had a fast boat.
Before you do that, when do you think the first charter boat opened in Mississippi in the small grandpa? When do you think that?
Oh, that was in the
30s.
30s
or the 20s.
Yeah, that's when they had Isla Capri.
No, they had them back in the teens. They had one close to the bungalow. They had a charter
Golden
boat. The first one was back there before the small craft harbor was even built. They had a charter boat there.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah. So my daddy had a fast boat. So we get a call one day. Captain Henry Pates had a older fella at that time. Hell, he's younger than we are now. So he had a lemon fish. Got it in the boat. He tried to shoot it in the boat and shot the passenger.
God, Jesus.
True story.
Jesus.
So me and my pa go get him. We go up there and get the passenger, and we running in, and we get inside of Horn Island, and the helicopter drops the thing and gets a fella. But before my pa couldn't handle it. He digs the bullet out of his ankle.
Out of
his calf.
He was in the war. Your dad.
He pulled a bullet. I mean, nowadays they'd sue you for. He took the bullet out of the fella, and I'm holding the boat. And the fella said,
with a Rambo knife, huh?
Yeah, sticking it out.
Damn.
Whatever. He used to put docticians on everything. My pa.
He was in World
Pour some beer on it.
So-
Dig it out.
He was in World War II. He got some training on how to do that. I'm telling you
One
right
more
now.
story. We there one day. We didn't have a trip. We get a call. Somebody got bit by a shark. I said, what idiot got bit by a shark? We take off. We go out there to the President Kennedy, and it's this one. We bring him in. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing getting bit by a shark?
All right, now you got to tell us what happened.
Wait a minute. Can I?
Yes.
Can I?
Well,
No. It's
Can I
your
say
fault.
something to that?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
That.
So
you never have got ahead of me, and you never will.
Here we go.
Here we
I knew it.
go.
All it took was a little brown water.
So tell us the
Yeah,
shark
tell us the story. What
Tell
happened
us
to
the
the
story.
Yeah, and I answered the shark story. And
All
that
right.
son of a bitch bit me from here all the way down there.
Oh, it really was on your
And-
middle
oh,
finger.
yeah.
I had a bunch of nurses on the boat, and then we was catching wormies on the Isle of Capri. And I grabbed one of these sun guns, and she said something to me, and next thing he had my fingers in his mouth. So
She done distracted the shit out of him.
Buzzy Cook
God,
is a
dog.
good friend of mine, lives in Seattle. He's a big game hunter.
taxidermist.
Damn, yeah. And anyway, he got up there, and he finally took a screwdriver and pried it apart. And of course, Captain Albert Everett and J.P. Trochesset said their favorite thing, Dr. Tichter's burn the shit out of you.
It'll cure anything.
Yeah.
That's the only accident I've had getting bit. I got gaffed and everything else.
Well, what'd you do? Just have a bite? Did he take it off?
he cleaned me all the way
He
down.
gloved you.
I mean,
He degloved you.
because of course I did that.
It's a dangerous
But
occupation.
it's been good since,
It's dangerous. People,
Well, I mean, you deal with hooks, you deal with people that are inexperienced,
Hooks,
you
yeah.
deal with all kinds of stuff that's going
But
on.
that's the biggest thing you had on a boat. You had to be careful when you brought a fish boat. People want to see it,
Yeah, yeah.
Throw
Yeah.
that son of a bitch in the box and give him 15 minutes, let him die.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you throw that 80-pound, 70-pound Kobe in the box, he's kicking everything off the boat. Passengers, reels, everything else.
so
Jay was talking earlier about one time we found a wreck. And CA found a wreck down Chandelier,
Yeah.
39 foot of water. And I guarantee you in 2 days, in one day, they had 10,000 pounds of snapper taken off that thing.
that ain't big snapper. That's all I'm like this.
They were all fine snapper.
Is that the one that had the cannons and all that stuff?
No,
on it?
no.
That's the other one, yeah.
I did all the research on that. I mean, I did that. And also, Jay was talking about Mac leaving in time and going to the Josephine. Josephine was a paddle boat. And I did all the research on that, the diving and everything. And it had a bad luck. I mean, every place it went around, it fell run aground,
Yeah.
But
Still fish there.
but worst thing about it, when it went running aground last time, it had a bunch of Italians on it. They all sat on the bridge because it wasn't they were tall enough where they just sitting on the bridge waiting for someone to come and get them.
Go get us.
So we had a comment from somebody in the audience said, "Ask him about the J turn." We didn't cover that yet, did we? The J turn.
What you talking? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Uh-oh.
I'm talking about you. He was decking for you. He's talking about you.
No, hey, let me tell you something. He wanted to be a deckhand so bad,
Who is this? Who is this we talking about?
Jay.
Jonathan.
Yeah, and he found out one thing. That when you out there in the sun and you catch a redfish, you come in with 15, 18 redfish, and you spent the whole day in the sun, it don't make a damn what you put in you, everything coming out.
Oh yeah,
I mean, and the young kids we had, I don't know how they made it, Jay. Mainly as many as you was and as many as I was.
Y'all ran them into the dirt.
No, but hey,
if I had to clean 150 Spanish mackerel and 40,
that was back then.
No Bubba blade. There was no Bubba blade.
You had no electric knife.
Just like after I did my thing, I had 2 or 3 people call me and says, "Y'all was just greedy back then." I said, "No, we wasn't." I said, "We didn't have no competition."
No,
you talking about after the podcast? Somebody said that.
Yeah, somebody. I ain't gonna mention.
Yeah.
But I told them, I said, "You don't understand.
Different world then."
Hey, we go out there when Jay's talking about the shrimp boats. You go out there, there'd be 100 boats pulling, and I'm talking about and something else. I want to ask Jay. We didn't have no jackfish like we got now. I mean, you catch your jackfish.
God bless.
You would catch black. You wouldn't catch no black tips. You catch wormies, tiger sharks, bull sharks, stuff like that around shrimp boats. Now, this place is ate up with black tips.
Yeah,
jacks.
All over. Yeah,
jacks.
I want to say something to that though. I want to say that like we've mentioned it before. Times were different. The fish population was different. Y'all guys was out there making a living off of that, and I thank y'all for sharing your stories. It wasn't like you doing that nowadays. You know, if you're doing that nowadays, one, it's illegal.
Here's the thing, though,
and nobody was fishing like
but back then when we were deckhands, they had a commercial crabber. Skinner, he would come. We would keep all the bonitas and jackfish and lemonfish carcasses.
Give him.
He would take them.
Yeah.
He was
recycling shit.
I don't like to kill things just to be killing them.
Right.
You can't do that nowadays because there's not as many. But back then we killed everything, but the crabber took them.
Right.
He froze them and used them for crab bait.
Right.
So that's
and who knows? I mean, I don't know. Your clientele might have been. I mean, hopefully they were eating all of it as well. Too.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't matter because you had 12 boats.
15, 12, 15. Yeah, about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter.
Compared to the width of the boats now, as far as how many there are.
Everything years ago used to be a routine. You would get up there, we'd start off in the spring. We'd be either down the outside beach of Horn Island, which nobody does anymore, looking right off the ball, knew where all the balls was, looking for cobia. You might catch a redfish, you might catch a jackfish, or you're trolling.
Yeah.
And then you'd progress, and then the mackerel would show up. But hey, if you want to see mackerel, you go to Bala Battery. Every boat you see around there, and also Dolphin Island's got a gill net on it. That's why we used to catch. It wasn't nothing to catch.
Well, all the king mackerel out south there, but
the Getty rig.
Yeah, south of Getty rigs down there.
Yeah.
South, they get them robotraws killing them king mackerel.
Yeah.
So you're still running trips
today.
Tell me about the difference between those times and now, and how you've adjusted your technique, your philosophy, your like the whole gamut, even the way you run your business.
Yeah,
it's tougher now because you can't catch the fish we used to catch.
Right. So how do you market that to the customer nowadays?
Well, we started.
They don't know the old school ways.
4 or 5 years ago, we started in the spring. It helped we catch sheephead.
Right.
That's a good fishery in the spring.
Yeah.
But I mean, this past year was just a terrible year for redfish because we didn't have any rain.
Mm-hmm.
And the sharks and jacks.
Sharks are bad. Sharks are
always
bad.
Get rain, them fish come out the marsh. They open the Bonnie Carry. It hurts everything else, but it helps the redfish. They get them out the marsh, come over here. So this, like I say, when you're not snapper fishing, you're just red fishing. It was tough because we didn't have a lot of redfish. Snapper fishing was good, but you got to run a ways to catch snapper, especially.
Right. And it gets worse as the year goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then they change the quota.
What else are you targeting? Spanish blues, kings,
sharks.
Yeah,
a couple kinds of sharks. With the advent of Jaws, we didn't keep sharks back when we first started. We let them go. But when Jaws come out in 75, 76, people wanted to catch sharks.
Right.
And so years ago, I was a president of the Biloxi High Diamond Club in 90 and 91. I had all these Biloxi people wanting lemonfish. So we redid Hollis Field. I said, okay, I'll get y'all some lemonfish. Well, I went and got some Atlantic sharpnose wormish. Filleted them, put them in mustard, fried them with Zatarans.
Yeah.
Told them it was lemon fish. Well, one of them, he's drunk. He's gone. He's one of our friends, Alan Mawson, said, "This is sharks." He was just saying that. He didn't know.
Right.
And everybody else, Butch Demmer, all these people said, "Oh, man, they good, man. I appreciate it, Jay." It was sharks. They didn't know.
You couldn't tell the difference.
Couldn't tell the difference.
That's like the story you told me about sheepshead crab and all the other stuff.
I mean, Clark Seafood. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just how you prepare it.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying about Clark Seafood. I think they found something on the bottom. That's why they retired. I ain't saying what, but they found something out there. Like,
oh, yeah. I heard that. Yeah.
Damn.
Found a bunch of money, some oil, some Earl.
He didn't say nothing. He just said he found something. He didn't say
They started doing them, 20 years ago, butterfish, didn't they?
They started butterfishing, and butterfish you pull in mid-water, and then a good friend of mine that taught me everything I knew about snapper fishing, about looking at the bottom and reading the
Commercial
bottom.
fisherman.
Yeah, he was a commercial fisherman for Bala Battery, and he retired. And he's told me, he said, they're building something that's going to hurt y'all. When they built a single boat that handled a purse seine. And that killed us with redfish.
Oh, yeah. They almost annihilated redfish.
They would just straw it up.
Purse seine.
Yeah.
Get everything.
With airplane.
So they'd wrap the nets around two boats and then run around.
There's 2 or 3 states in the United States, like I think in Alaska, you can't use planes, for fish.
Right.
But and
Mississippi, Louisiana, maybe one more state. Everybody
else
else
do it here. You can still do it.
Purse seines? Yeah.
Or the pokey boats.
Pokey boats.
Yeah.
Everybody else outlawed purse seines. They're deadly.
They ain't no pokey boats no more.
There's a fleet out of Pascagoula. They run them all the time.
But it's not like they were.
Used to be more.
We've got we got about 3 this year. I believe 2 or 3 on the Liberty ship. I mean on the.
We sunk it. I was on one when we sunk it. I walked on it.
But they're deadly. They kill everything.
Right.
They kill everything. Years ago, we coming through Camille Cut, and my son Brandon's ahead of me, and he calls me on the phone. He said, "You need to look at that pokey boat." I said, "Why?" He said, "I've watched running through ahead of you, throwing back about 30 or 40 sharks. Mm-hmm. I watched about 30 or 40.
Yeah, he shouldn't be. He should have been inside the island. Yeah,
he was inside the island.
Where they want. Yeah.
They catch everything, but they can.
Yeah.
They can finagle it. They can finagle it.
So did I hear your answer right, though, to adapt from the way it used to be to way it is now?
Every year
is diversifying in what you target, diversifying in the fish.
The fish aren't near as plentiful as they used to be.
So you have to go to different species.
Species and, talk. Well, this is an outing. We're going to watch dolphin first. And,
right,
yeah,
correct. So the experience, right? You have to change it to the
You got to sell it.
Yes.
And you got to have good deckhands. Now, before we just go out there, you don't even talk to the people. We're going to catch fish. If you like good, we're going to catch a lot of fish.
Right.
It ain't like that now.
No. Now people want to hear stories. If y'all tell them these kind of stories, they want to get to know the captain. They'll come back. Yeah, you're right. That's tough.
That's why y'all got rid of Peanut.
I didn't get rid of Peanut. Peanut's old lady took him.
That's why Captain Kenny had to
Peanut's
retire.
Old lady took
That's why
him.
he had to retire. He's like, I can't talk to these
Tiffany,
people.
if you're watching, don't listen to
that. I don't believe.
If you look at Peanut again, one ear's bigger than the other. Because she drug him all the way across that dance floor, all the way down Pro Revive.
Again, here we go, Peanut. Shots fired. I hope you're still in the comments. You can defend yourself. No, that's a great story, though. I appreciate y'all sharing that. It's a different world. It's a different world now than what y'all came up with.
Like when me and Jay started, there was one type of fishing, and it was mainly that. And like in September, when we had the first boat, we go to Chandelier to trout fishing. Do that in early spring. And have May, June, July, and August to fish in the Gulf. But we had stuff like going out to way out to 60 feet of water and catch 300 or 400 dolphin.
Yeah, right.
Chicken dolphin. You ain't seen them now. That's mahi for people, not
just like.
And that's what
bottlenose dolphin
said. The loop current might have came in because before Camille, we caught a lot of dolphin. We was out there one day. All of us. Kenny was on Miss Hospitality. I mean, when you deckhanded, when Captain Baker, when the author Ralph Baker, we out there catching dolphin. They use cane poles.
They use cane poles,
They use cane poles, and here comes a damn sailfish hitting one of them.
Pow.
Boom.
Really?
That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah. I had one of his
60
good
foot
friends.
of water ain't that far.
We were out there about like where FH1 is, maybe north of it, dolphin all over. But I had one of them deckhands for 2 years. One of Kenny's good friends, Line Eddie Jones.
He's still got the state record.
State record for
sailfish.
No,
Sailfish.
he's got another one he caught on the Pops Ferry Bridge. What was that?
Yeah.
In the winter. What is it?
I'll tell y'all something when we shut this thing off. You won't catch it.
Striped bass.
Striped bass.
Yeah.
He's got that record too. He would talk and lie. Eddie worked for me in the spring. They had somebody lost some marijuana in the black cellophane.
Oh,
we
square
up,
groupers.
Yeah, square.
Yeah.
We inside between Ship and Horn Island and Trolling. And Eddie says, we just passed one of them. I said, I ain't. He said, turn around. You know what's I said, I ain't turning around. And about 5 minutes later, here comes a helicopter right over there. I said, Eddie,
they picked up over 200 something bales.
Oh,
out there at the east end of Ship
Kenny
Island.
still got some.
And no, I wish I did. But I'll pass the drug test. Can you?
I don't know how to study.
Yeah, exactly.
But we got up there, and about 4 days later, I picked up 5 bales. And I called the Coast Guard, so I picked up 5 bales of pot. And they'd have been out there all week
looking for them. Yeah.
They said, you wasn't supposed to pick it up. I said, well, I wasn't going to wait for y'all to come.
What the hell?
I said, meet me at the Broadwater Slip 24.
Yeah.
They showed up. They picked up 3. And left.
Keep one.
And left.
He still got one.
Keep one.
He still got one.
I'm glad. That's why I retired.
That's right.
That's why I retired.
I'm glad you said
I'm
that.
still working. He retired.
He still got one.
I still got my license too. But they got up there and I called them back and said, is this a tip? I said, what do you mean? I said, you only took 3. I said, I got 2 sitting on the bow and they stand the hell out of my deck. Turned it brown.
Yeah. What did they come back and get him?
Yeah, they come back and got him.
Okay.
Oh, we're sorry. I said, yeah, y'all.
Yeah. They came back and got him. They came back and got him. Yeah.
You know what he did? He covered his ass on that.
They came back and got him.
That's the truth.
Because I was going to say, I recovered 4. I was like, yeah, what about the other 2?
What about the other one?
A good friend of mine that worked for me, he says, let's keep them. I said, no, I ain't keeping that shit.
No, because you ended up with your head cut off
And
somewhere
the kids
downtown
the kids was on Deer Island with rakes, raking it up.
Really?
Yeah, they floated ashore.
The ones that the bales have been tore up?
That was the stuff before y'all's time they called seaweed.
Yeah.
It tastes like salt water.
I guess, hey, but it's good for a sore throat.
It cleared it off.
It helps it out.
Yeah.
And nowadays you can buy it just like there ain't nothing. So I don't know. The world comes around full circle.
That's
Guys,
right.
is there any stories that we haven't touched on that y'all want to share tonight? I'm talking about anything. Deckhands. If you want to punch Peanut again in the live or whatever you want to do.
Him.
Yeah.
But one thing, Jake can clean up the bullshit.
Well, we need a shovel because it's in here thick. It's in here thick.
That was it.
I want to say one thing. This has been a great life.
Well, it ain't over yet.
But listen,
no.
Kenny and I, we wanted to do this all our life, and we got to do this. And we were blessed to be able to do something like this.
Yeah,
we wanted to do it, and we got to do it.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Not at all.
There was a lot of regret.
I mean, it ain't easy running your own business.
Right.
It ain't
you
easy.
had to work for a living.
No holidays.
Yeah, because you're working on 4th of July. You're working on all those holidays.
I've seen times where I'm talking about, I believe I had the best run I had was about almost 70 days straight.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Running trips.
And I says, is that boat me coming out?
Yeah. What would y'all say if we wrap things up? What would y'all say that y'all hope for, like the future generations of captains or people that because we got a lot of people that live here now that's not from here. Like, what do you hope to see for the Gulf of Mexico, the charter boat business, just overall fisheries, on the Mississippi Gulf Coast?
Well, my opinion that the state is doing a lot, like raising fish. I mean, just like this
the
year,
hatcheries.
This year they had a lot of lemon fish caught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was a good year,
and
way more than the rest.
But them fish they got up there and the weather was bad. I'm talking about when I was still in business when they had them, and I seen them load them right there behind by my boat and take them out 6 months later, 5 months later. And them fish is a lot bigger. That's a lot of fish. When you all catching all legal fish like this, and they're all legal, that's the fish they planted. And that, thank God for them. The hatchery up here, they doing a great job.
Well, they got a bunch of them in Lyman right now. They're about to release a bunch of speckled trout and stuff like that.
Trout,
yeah.
I mean, anything you can do to replenish stock is good. And, people need to be aware of the laws. Some people want to plead ignorant. I didn't know you couldn't keep a 2-foot cobia. I mean, come on.
Well,
don't keep it if you don't know that.
Right. So before we get out of here, both of y'all are Hall of Famers. And we forgot to mention it on your show, but we're going to mention it now, right? So both of y'all are Hall of Famers. Go through that for us, if you don't mind.
What Hall of Fame and how y'all got to be a part of it? What's the Hall of Fame?
The Hall of Fame, we're in the IGFA, International Game Fish Association, Captain and Crew Hall of Fame. We didn't catch a fish. We're not an individual angler. We got it because we ran a captain of a boat, which is, that's what we did. And like I said, when we got in 2016, 15, we were the longest tenured captains in the Gulf of Mexico. That's what they told us. That's pretty sporty. From Brownsville to Key West. Wow. Here we got 2 from Biloxi in it. And like I said, I really believe it. We got in because we were alive. 2 of them.
Everybody else is dead. Everybody else is dead. There was the only 2 that were still alive.
You said Gulf of Mexico, and I just immediately assumed you meant of Mississippi.
No, it's a whole Gulf.
Wow.
Texas,
They had some people in Atlantic, but in the Gulf of Mexico, we were in it in 2016 longer, more time than any captain. That's
saying something.
I'm proud of that. That we got somebody. I've been knowing him since we were in the 8th or 9th grade.
Right.
Oh, he was a year ahead of me.
And y'all rubbing elbows right now. I mean, same guy. And y'all
we're still here, luckily.
The only 2, right, from Mississippi.
The only 2 from Mississippi.
That's in the Hall of Fame.
But when we got up there, the way I heard it is that they were trying to pick somebody from Mississippi, and it was good. They both of us was like even right there,
Yeah.
And the person that was putting it together, he says, "Well, I'm not going to do it now unless you pick both of them." So they picked both of us.
Oh, so you had a vote, he had a vote, and they said
we didn't have no votes. We didn't know.
I mean, you had a nomination.
They came and talked to both of us, the people that do the IGFA.
Yeah.
Right.
So you had a nomination, he had a nomination. They said, "Well, we're going to take both of y'all."
Yeah, it was really a neat and a highlight of our lives.
Yeah, what an honor!
It is. And then what's her name was in there, and Guy Harvey was there. And I got a
with
picture
a pink coat on.
Yeah, because about 3 or 4 years prior to that, my wife was down at the Edgewater Mall, and she got him to autograph a shirt.
Guy Harvey,
a Guy Harvey shirt, and I still have that thing. And then we go to the Hall of Fame awards banquet, and he's there. He's on the board of the IGFA.
Yeah.
So it was nice. And
you said y'all are like pictures, plaque, or carved. And what'd you tell me that where
it's etched in stone?
Where's that at?
J. Trochesset and Kenny Barhanovich. It's in Dania, Florida.
Okay,
it looks like the Gulf Coast Coliseum. This building.
Okay,
we happened to be down there for the boat show, and it happened at a good time, and it was real nice. I mean, It was special to me and my family,
Oh, absolutely.
Took all my girls.
He's a Yugoslav. I'm a Frenchman, so we got the best of both worlds here.
That's right.
Hey, you made that joke, and I'm glad you did, because I tell you what, Joey and I started this podcast because we love this area. I mean, it's really weird the way that it's my hometown, obviously, but I love this place, man. And people don't understand it, I don't think, that ain't from here. We meet a lot of people like, oh, I moved here from such and such and such and such, and I loved it so much, and I stayed. And I always look at them and I go, you figured it out, But what I say all that to say that this place is like a melting pot of Yugoslavs, Frenchmen. I mean, there's so many Vietnamese. All these cultures that came down here, which is what America is, but it's a microcosm down here.
But when you get outside and you look back, and I have had people tell me the place here. He said, it's going to make it here. He said, because y'all are friendly. Y'all are nice.
Everybody loves everybody around here. I mean,
so I put the picture in the drive.
Oh, that's going to take me a minute. You can't just show it to the camera?
I can.
Yeah,
so,
it'll take me too long to probably pull that up.
Well, boys, I'm finished.
Wait, hold on. We're almost done. We're done. Hold on.
You better hurry.
Show right there, Joey. You got to cover go right into the screen with it. Let's see. Hold on. There it is. Okay.
There it is.
What is that, Joey? What is that? That's when y'all got inducted?
Yeah. I guess. I can't see it. I have glasses.
90% of that people came from Biloxi.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. That place.
Except for the Marlin.
Except for the Marlin. Yeah. All right. We got it.
Now, these are the godfather of smiles.
There's no doubt.
How many people do they make happy over the 40-plus years these guys took people?
Yeah.
That's right.
A lot of people. We took a lot of people. Thousands of people.
Well, you
lot
had
of smiles on the Gulf Coast.
You had who was Mary? You had Motley Crue. You had
a lot of
that was the experience.
What was the one that passed away? She passed away going to New Orleans.
Oh, Jane
Mansfield. Who'd you have? Who was your celebrity?
I had Linda Ronstadt.
Damn.
She was just starting. She was a bitch. Listen,
You shouldn't have said
let me tell y'all right quick.
We'll edit it out. Don't worry about it.
The night Jane Mansfield got killed, me and Fofo Gilch and our wives or girlfriends, we went to Gus Stevens. She sat on my lap. Jane Mansfield. Yeah. I went down to the boat the next morning, and they said Jane Mansfield got killed. Yeah. I said, bullshit. I said, she was sitting on my lap about 5 hours ago. Yeah. She said, she's dead. I said, I don't believe it.
That is the door now.
You didn't care who you hung around with.
Hang around with you.
That's true.
There it is.
That's true. Look.
Hank Williams Sr.? You had Hank Williams Sr.?
No, I can't. No. I had football players, basketball players.
My daddy used to book Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
On a trip?
No, I'm talking about before. My daddy used to book shows. And
shit. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
His daddy had Elvis Presley opening up the Coast Coliseum.
Well, I got a picture
of he died first.
Yeah, I got a picture of my grandfather, Jack, on the beach on Highway 90 with Elvis Presley and a bunch of women, and he's like on the corner of it's crazy. Yeah. But look, guys, I appreciate y'all coming in here again tonight.
Great.
We love conversations like this, and I can tell you by the comments and the viewership that we've had tonight, just on the live stream, that our audience loves it too. So look, thank y'all for your time tonight, for coming in. It's a great story for people that love the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
And it's history.
Yeah.
Y'all don't realize like someday we're going to win an award for bringing y'all on.
And we want to thank y'all. We're going to get an award.
Yeah, we're going to win an award for bringing y'all on.
That's going to be
y'all going to get a bullshit award.
That's right.
We got it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Gentlemen,
yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
It's our pleasure. Look, we thank everybody for watching on the live, the replays, and listening on the audio. These gentlemen are getting up. I think they got to piss, and we're probably going to have a drink or two more. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you on the next.